students. Hello, Ariel.
Hello, Moshe.
And we're on the second session of questions and answers from the lessons, as guaranteed, as promised.
Exactly, and as you see, this is our uncasual look.
Yes.
Uncasual look. Moshe is actually very dressed.
Yes, no, I'm trying. Anyhow, so let's go straight away to the first question, and we urge you to send more questions through the Facebook platform and to us during the lessons. And the more you ask questions, the more all of the students have the possibility to feel more, to scrutinize more, and for us to feel you more and to know where to push more, where to put the focus on. And let's go straight away to Felice Antonio from Salerno, Italy. So when you say that all what is happening to us is the will of the Creator, do you mean that this belongs to our spiritual thinking and thoughts, or also anything that happens here in this physical world?
It includes everything, including everything, spiritual thoughts, this world. However, to add to that after something happens, it's like the saying that it was the Creator who did it. If I look back at things, I had no choice about it. But from this moment and on, each one of us has to relate to it as there is none else besides me. That's how it's called, by the way. None else besides Him for the past, and none else besides me for the future.
Mm-hmm. And of course we will learn about all of these things together in the last lesson of this semester, which will be really dedicated to there's none else besides Him. So another question from a student from Europe: is there any spiritual light in this world? Well, first of all, we would like to know your names and where you're from. It's nice. Any spiritual light in this world? The answer is no. Why no? Because actually the only reality which exists is the light, like infinite light that fulfills all reality or all the vessels, all the will to receive. The only thing is that we don't feel this light, or at least not in its true essence, which is the quality of bestowal. We feel this light as our life, as our existence, but Kabbalists are saying that this is only a very minute, a very small amount of light. They call it, how do they call it?
A thin candle.
A thin candle from all of the infinite light which exists really. And through our development of our will to receive, shifting it to the will to bestow, we're opening our senses towards this true reality of light. Light means the quality of bestowal, or the levels of attainment of the Creator. So a Kabbalist would say, if you asked him, is there light in this world? So for a Kabbalist, this world would mean his specific state in which he is. This is called this world in Kabbalah, not what I imagine here. And yes, for me, this world, or our reality, is my current state. But a Kabbalist would tell you, if you asked him if there is light, he would tell you a certain amount of light. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, in this and these sfirot, this is what I have in my current state.
So, no limitations on the light. What you achieve, what you attain, is what you perceive. That's your reality.
And another question from that student: so life is like a carrot and on a stick for a donkey, and we are the donkey?
Excellent. Once we have a point in our heart, then we have a choice not to identify ourselves with the donkey. We can rise above that to the degree called human, the human level. In Hebrew it's Adam, from the word Edameh, to become similar to the Creator. So it's very true that it's like with the carrot. That's our donkey, that's our will to receive, trying to grab everything, and then we have no choice about anything. We just go through life. I want this, then I want that. I'm sorry for the comparison, but if you look at a dog, like walking on the street, he's like this, like that, like this, like that. And it's the same with us. And only once we get the point in the heart, we have the freedom to choose to rise above that and start choosing a different kind of reality where we try to achieve and become like the Creator.
And actually what happens is that we are becoming like the cavaliers, if you can say, those who ride and goad and direct the donkey. This is what happens. We hold the carrot, we hold the stick, and we're just asking the help of the Creator to manage us in the right way.
Excellent metaphor.
Thank you, Ariel.
You're welcome. Comes to me natural.
I know. This was the carrot. Okay, another question of this student. So, he asks, we can feel more pleasure by feeling the pleasure in others? And the answer is yes. We already explained it thoroughly, I think, in the first lesson and the second lesson. And yeah, the answer is yes. Because as we're built, as we're programmed, or I would say soft-wired, we're all interconnected in this reality. To a certain extent of how we can feel it, how we are developing our point in the heart. From the point that I feel only myself, and yes, I feel the others, but not so much, and I can live in a cave alone. Or I feel the others, and my ego is so developed to such point that I want to, how do you say, I want to exploit all of them. I want to use our connections, but to exploit. And this is what we see in our reality when all of the world is controlled just by some families or some governments or whatever, that they are using all of this global network in order to derive pleasure from control, from money or whatever. And when you invert this method, that yes, you're using all of the connections, but you use them in order to bestow and not to exploit, then you begin to feel all of the spiritual reality, because you begin to relate to a reality which is outside of yourself, to the light. And this is how, instead of having, and I always forget the word for, when the granny is knitting, she's putting this thing on her finger, so you go to the ocean.
Iron thing.
Yeah, this iron thing. You go to the ocean with this small iron thing, and this is your ego, and you want to get fulfilled. Okay, that's it. Or you're taking just, an endless vessel coming like this to the sea, and you fulfill it with all of the ocean. So that's the difference.
Regarding endless vessel, we don't generate pleasure. We receive pleasure from the light. Now imagine I have a cup. The pleasure comes in, fills it. That's it. I stop feeling it. It's stuffed. That's it. But if I open the cup, the pleasure just flows through. And when we do that, it's actually like a metaphor, comparison to passing the light on to others. When we say light, of course, we mean after spiritual attainment and once we understand what the light is. But in general, that's the difference between when I just try to fulfill myself in my own vessels, or when I try to fulfill others, and then the pleasure is endless, ongoing, ever-flowing, marvelous.
And here is an important point to emphasize, that we're not passing the others money, charity, give them food. Although, yes, we need to help, that everyone would at least have his necessity. However, we're talking about giving everyone the possibility to attain the Creator to the fullest amount, to the fullest extent. And this is what the Kabbalists did through their writings, through all of the inner work and sublime work that they are doing in the upper system. And also we need to do the same thing. So we're not now going out to, to hug polar bears and to... No, we are doing the work of connection, and only through this, and we will talk about it, all of the rest will come. Because the only thing which is corrupted, which is malfunctioned in this world, is only the connection between us. Once we're correcting it, everything else will be corrected. And scientists are discovering it today, that all of the systems of nature are influenced by us, by human. And second thing I wanted to tell is that this inversion between my ego with a small thing and the endless will to receive is mentioned in Kabbalah through the word tzinor. Tzinor in Hebrew is pipe. And they say you flip ratzon, The word ratzon is an anagram of tzino. You flip the will to receive, flip the intention, and you become tzino, a pipe. Okay, and Pierluigi from Italy. He's saying, so the desire itself is not negative. It should be brought to its highest level in trying to love as we are loved by the Creator. The will to receive itself, without, it's natural. It's not negative. It's not something negative, but we should bring it to its highest level by trying to love as we are loved by the Creator. Mm-hmm. Is it so?
It serves us in order to achieve our goal. It's like we gave this comparison on, I think, first or second lesson. It's like our will to receive, our ego, is the best Ferrari in the world, with the wooden, thing and the whole leather.
No, you're way in Ferraris.
I like the good life. Anyway, so I either might be, carrying it around on my back, trying to get somewhere with it.
Or pushing it.
Yeah, or pushing it. Yeah. Or driving it around and, attaining, having a wild time. So that's the difference, basically.
Let's see.
And Kabbalah is the method of how do we use our will to receive in order to attain spirituality. It's excellent. There's no problem with it. Only we have to know how to use it correctly for us to use it in order to achieve spirituality, and not for it, so to speak, to use us in order to achieve corporeality.
Student from Europe, how can we compare pleasures of this world to pleasures of the spiritual world? And to tell you the truth, you cannot, because the pleasures of this world are... Baal Sulam is writing in a certain letter to his students that if the denizens of this world would only fathom what does it mean, the smallest pleasure in the spiritual world, they would have, he's saying like this, they would have cut their legs and their arm, no, how he says, the toes,
chop off the legs
and toes, and 7 times a day, just to have a glimpse, or just to have the taste, one taste of the endless pleasure, smallest pleasure in spirituality.
It's a serious comparison, but it's given by a Kabbalist, exactly so that, we won't interpret it, but just...
Of course, doesn't mean that you have now to go and chop. This is reserved to the Yakuza or something.
Yeah.
Don't do it at home. But what we're trying to say is, I don't know why I did say Yakuza. Anyhow, what we're trying to...
You're afraid that they'll come looking for you. That's why you say that now. Just mentioning.
What I'm trying to tell you, in fact, is that Baal Sulam, of course, means the vessels of reception. Like hands are vessels of reception, and you would cut the intention to receive 7 times a day if you want to be in bestow. These are inner things, but just for the comparison. Another question from that student. So practically, what does it mean to separate the pleasure from the desire? That these are two distinct things.
It's like, by the way, excellent question. It's just like with mother and the baby, only it's a corporeal example. It doesn't have anything to do actually with spirituality, but because the mother fills the baby, she has the desire, but she puts the pleasure into him. She can go on doing this all day long as he eats, and she derives more and more pleasure, because she feels natural love toward him and so on. But that's exactly the point of it, that you separate between the place of the desire, the place of the fulfillment, and the pleasure itself. And if we take it to the next level, suppose when we attain spirituality and we start feeling other people as parts of ourselves, we start feeling such love towards others and we start fulfilling them, then the more you have to give, the more pleasure you derive. And imagine, if you're a mom and you're watching us, imagine you have 7 billion children and you have all the good and the pleasure in the world to feed them. It's an excellent feeling, actually.
You should look at that camera later.
No, I refuse.
Please.
Which one? The right?
Yeah.
The right one?
Yeah, on the right. Look at it.
Okay.
You see them?
Yes. We have, by the way, 3 cameras. Just saying.
Okay, so let's go move on to the next question of Rosie from UK. If humanity has evolved biologically, when did the shattering of the soul took place?
Moshe, please. This is your
Specialty.
yes. If you want to draw, go ahead.
I cannot. I can carve on the table, but today no drawing board. Okay, so Rosie, we didn't mention the shattering so much. It's a concept that belongs to a certain part of the process of the evolution of the desire of the creature, of the will to receive, which is actually happening in spirituality. Before the appearance of such a desire, which conceives, which perceives a certain level of existence, detached from the creator, which feels only itself, and it perceives, because of this, it perceives this reality that we all feel now. The shattering really happens in spirituality beyond space and time, before the appearance of the will to receive, before the Big Bang, before everything. It's not about time. It's before time existed. Okay? So it is a process of the creation of the will to receive of the creature. And then in the shattering, the will to receive is really shattered from one piece into many pieces. You can say 7 billion of them or 600,000 of them. It doesn't matter. But to small desires. And it has nothing to do with biological evolution and with nothing in our world. And this is a very important emphasis here, that spirituality, this is the first thing that Baal Sulam tells us in the book, The Study of the 10 Sfirot, that you should know that everything that we discuss in spirituality, that we learn in the book of Zohar, Study of the 10 Sfirot, and everything that Kabbalists are mentioning, it has nothing to do with our world, with our will to receive. It has nothing to do with time, space, movement, whatever, but only with spirituality. Connection, light, vessels, creator, and that's it. And we should not imagine anything else that we know.
And if this sounds a bit complicated, don't worry, on the second semester we'll talk about it a lot.
Exactly. And Dave from Sweden. How does unfulfilled desires affect human behavior according to Kabbalah? I have unfulfilled desires.
Yes.
How it would affect my behavior according to Kabbalah? Well, according to psychology, we know how it affects. It creates pressure. Then I'm trying to sublimize it through other things. But how Kabbalah explains this mechanism of having unfulfilled desires, and what does it bring me to do?
If we're talking about an unfulfilled desire in this world, it's psychology. If we're talking about an unfulfilled desire in spirituality, it's Kabbalah. So what does it bring me to do? It's actually, that's what it's all about. It's like this amazing adventure where you have this game that you play, and your goal is to pleasure the Creator. How can you pleasure Him? By fulfilling your desire to the full, right? So, okay, now I have these desires that they're so coarse, so big that if I fill them, for sure I will lose the intention and do it for my own benefit. So I have to all the time make this very, very precise calculation to the full. How much can I receive of that pleasure which the Creator wants me to receive, in order not to lose the intention that all of this is done for His own benefit? And that's the game that we play till the final correction. And that's Kabbalah. That's using it, actually.
And just mentioning our world, I don't know how to tell it to you, but unfortunately, every desire that we have in our world, we think that there are fulfilled desires. Actually, none of our desires are getting fulfilled. as we told in the second lesson, we're having a deficiency. It's burning, it's aching, I want to fulfill it. And then I'm not really fulfilling it, but I'm just lowering the stress. I'm feeling relieved. Okay, I don't need it anymore. And this is what we call pleasure in our world. But rather, the purpose of the desires in this world is just to push us more and more towards the one and only desire that we were created in order to attain it and to fulfill it. And this is the point in the heart. The desire to attain the Creator, spirituality. That's it. But we have to discern ourselves that all of these desires that we wanted and went through, we don't want them anymore. But we want something bigger. The biggest thing that could be in this reality. The Creator. And
just a small thing to add, no, because it's very interesting, because it has to do exactly with what's going on now in the world. Because there are no fulfilled desires in our world, which is very true, the interesting thing about it is that once we receive any kind of pleasure, then immediately, damn, it becomes double the deficiency. And the unique thing about the desire is that it becomes, exactly. It's becoming disappointed from ever fulfilling itself. This is a kind of an acquisition of knowledge through the experience that we get, that we are not able to fill the desire, and each pleasure that we'll get, it will only increase our deficiency, and we start feeling and understanding that. And this is the reason for, if we see the younger generation, for instance, many of the younger generation, you can see that it's not like, that there was the American dream and go and make a career and you'll have money. But many of the younger generation, they don't want all these things, because they already kind of feel in advance that whatever they do, they will not be able to fulfill their desire, and they're looking for some additional value, additional meaning. And this is where Kabbalah comes in. So this is a very unique time that we live in, that Kabbalah is revealing toward that desire that feels that it can no longer fulfill itself.
So it brings us to the question of Julia from Germany, and she asks, what is the will to receive when you decide to have children? And the will to receive when you decide to have children is called family. The will to receive when I decide to have children is just the will to receive from the level of family.
Yes.
This is the desire that I have. And another question, I don't know from who, but he's asking, so can a person have only one desire at a time?
We do have one desire at a time. We can't split. It's very, but they change all the time if we kind of follow up on ourselves.
And we can have like one major desire at a time. I'm hungry, I want money, I want to get married, I want to, to be famous, what else? Mm-hmm. There are 6 desires all in all. But what is the biggest desire which governs me now? This is the one desire that I have, that's it. This is how we are. Okay. There's a question from Monique from Bulgaria. Is the desire for knowledge more egoistic than the corporeal desires? And if so, then why?
If I understand correctly the question, the corporeal desires, they're
sex, family, food, or whatever. Why the desire for knowledge is considered more egoistic than the others?
The first desires of we just talked about are instincts. The animals have them, and we have them. There's nothing good or bad about them. Whereas with respect to the desire for knowledge, it's already called a social desire, because we sort of need others to enjoy it. What do we mean by this? Suppose I live on a deserted island. I don't really need knowledge. I have to know how to break the coconut in order to know how to eat it. But when I derive pleasure from the knowledge itself, there are also many things about it. I feel that I am superior to nature, I'm superior to others. I want to control nature, actually. I want to be higher than it. And that being an egoistic desire.
And we have a question.
Unless I use it for the benefit of others.
And we have a question from. We have a question from Makar, from Belarus, White Russia. Even though I noticed that I have all of the lower desires, like food, money, fame, etc., I also have the spiritual desire, and it all happens at the same time. So, do I have to fulfill my lower desires before I go to the spiritual ones? Or can I somehow skip all of the lower ones and work only with the spiritual one? Very good question. And it's really the continuation of the last one that we did, because when you have the point in the heart, this new appearance of the new desire in you, so then you're becoming a much more complex human being, I would say. Or you have on one side the beginning of the development of the soul, your beginning of connection with all of the rest of the parts of your will to receive, of your desire, and with the Creator. And on the other hand, you have all of the corporeal desires that we will see that now, or at the beginning, we would like to, as he's writing, to get rid of them. I don't enjoy all of them. I just want to concentrate on spirituality. And then we will see that the more we will advance in the line of the point in the heart, then we'll see that these desires, even though we thought of getting rid of them, they're not important, they don't matter anymore, we will see how much, all of a sudden, how much pleasure could be in them. And so the fact is that you will have like parallel desires and a choice each time. To which desire should we give importance? As we said before, only one desire can prevail, like to be the most important among the others, and this is what I will fulfill, where I will go. If I have a desire to buy a car, I will open all of the car journals, I will go to car agencies, I will talk with my friends until I will do this thing. Even though I don't have any money, I will just buy a car. Why? This was the desire that I nourished, and I went to the environment to nourish it even more. Here, for the first time, I have a choice. Which desire should I cultivate? And this will be the desire that will prevail. But that doesn't mean that we need to oppress any of our desires. Not at all. This is a very, very important thing. I wish sometimes there was someone here that could do like zoom into my eyes and I would say such a dramatic thing. I don't know how to do it, but just believe me, it's dramatic. No, really, seriously. In Kabbalah, we don't oppress our desires. We have desires for, as Makar wrote, for family, for money, for food. You don't oppress any of them. You need to eat, and if you need to eat, I don't know, 5 steaks a day and 20 chickens and I don't know what, and to live in a huge, huge palace, it's okay, continue to do it. The only thing is, just add Kabbalah to your life. Read before you go to sleep, as Ariel is recommending, Rav Leitman is recommending. Go to the Facebook environment of our study group. Read materials as many as you can. Download some lessons of Rav Leitman, programs, everything that you can. Just add it to your life, and that's it. And you will see what will happen, how it influences your other desire, like the point in the heart. That's it.
Yep.
Next question. So, Ingrid from Prague, she asks, what desires should the study of Kabbalah provide me with? The desire for searching the Creator, who is beyond all of these?
Just with one desire, and it's a very correct and precise question, because the Creator, He is not hiding. We just don't have the right desire. It's like this place is packed with the Creator. only that our will to receive is built in such a way that we perceive only two things. One, something that can pleasure me, or two, something that can cause me suffering. These are the only two things that we see. If something doesn't meet one of these criteria, then for me it doesn't exist. So it's the same with the Creator. At the time being, bestowal, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't see the benefit of it, and therefore it doesn't exist. But through the study of the wisdom of Kabbalah and the influence of the surrounding or reforming light, as we talked about on the previous lesson from item 155, it influences me, it starts changing me, and I start specifying my desire. I target it more and more like this laser beam, right? And once we have that precise desire for spirituality, immediately it reveals. So that being all of our work, how to create the right deficiency for spirituality.
And we have a question from another student. Please write your names. How can I truly desire something spiritual if I can't see it, hear it, or touch it in this world? Let's talk about other desires, human desires, not just to grab something and to eat, or I don't know, having sex, or let's talk about honor. I cannot see honor, I cannot hear it, I cannot touch it. What is really honor? If you think about it, it's some kind of pleasure that I seek in our connections. We're having connection, and from this I want to derive some element which I would be fulfilled from. I don't know, the sensation that people are, I don't know, if an alien, just think, if an alien would have come and he see Ariel, wow, looking at me with big eyes, wow, Moshe, you are so great, you are so wonderful, I admire you, here, take a seat, or something like this. And the alien sees me, and my, I don't know, heartbeat is rising, the
pupils
are growing, I'm sitting like this, a little, and the alien would ask himself, what happens to this other guy? Why is he so excited? Someone is just telling him words and sit on a chair, and he's so I have a lack in me. Maybe Ariel doesn't even care. He would just say it, and he doesn't care to give me honor. But I would feel that because I have the deficiency, the lack for this honor, this is how I want to utilize our form of connection. I have the desire, and then according to what I feel that Ariel is doing, I will be fulfilled. I will feel myself much more important than him, or whatever. The same thing goes for spirituality. If I have this deficiency, and the big difference would be that we're not talking about false desires of this world, because then we will discover that the desire for honor or for fame and control or money, these are all really spiritual desires, only that I was using them in the inverse form, only for myself. And rather I will discover the true form of these desires. So when I will have the deficiency to bestow, when this will be the most important thing for me on earth, just to bestow to others, then I will utilize the form of connections, of our connections, and I will derive the pleasure from this, but not for me, but for the others.
From what Moshe said, it reminded me of this story that I heard, like an allegory. I heard from Rav Lightman that, let's take for instance, I don't know, a taxi driver, right? He thinks that he's driving people around all day in order to make money. But actually, from the spiritual point of view, he's doing it because he wants to bring them from place to place. He wants to bestow onto them.
And it's hidden from him.
Yeah, and the same with the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like a restaurant owner, he wants to make all this money and be famous, but he actually wants to feed the people. That's his true desire, only it's hidden from us. So it's very interesting how all this works. And by the way, one more thing about honor, like Moshe gave the example with the alien, and it's a very natural, good desire to want to be honored and respected. It comes from spirituality, actually, because we want to be like the Creator. And because the Creator is one, unique and unified, so say the Kabbalists, I want to be that way myself too. I want to be unique, I want to be better than others, I want to be, the one. And as long as we're in corporeality, we use that for trying to fulfill ourselves. But with respect to spirituality, it's trying to become like the Creator, and it's in bestowal. So it's all about with what intention do we use these desires that come our way.
And it's interesting because last lesson we were talking about the law of fruits and branches. And Baal HaSulam is explaining us that whatever we have in the root, whatever qualities, the branch would covet them, would want to become like them. Only that what changes here is the intention, as Ariel explained. In our world, we really want to have adhesion with the Creator. Rav Leitman explained it many times in amazing examples. The woman which wants to get dressed, to be beautiful, is like the Malchut, the creature that wants to correct itself with the intention to be worthy of the Creator. Whatever we're doing in our world is like a derivative. How would you say?
How would I say?
It's a projection.
Projection is good.
It's the projection from the upper world, from the root, only that we are thinking and we are behaving through absolute laws, total laws, that I have to behave like this with honor, with fame, with everything. The only thing why I perceive this world and all of the horrendous things that are done here is because of my intention. The intention is not just what we think, what's your intention. The intention is like what comes before I even have the desire. The desire is like generating thoughts, emotions and everything, and the intention comes even before. First of all, intention. How and why do I want to use this desire for? So when we ascend to spirituality, we're becoming not only the owners, if we can say like this, of our thoughts, emotions, how we utilize them and so on, of our connections, but also of the desires. How do I use this will to receive? To which direction? Bestowal or reception? And this is what's so amazing about spirituality. Of course, that the goal is that we're becoming similar, identical to the Creator, which is the purpose of all of this life. So many good things are to come. And I think we have time for one last question, or maybe two. We have Rosario from Rimini, Italy. So, when we reach all the biological desires, home, family, money, fame, and at the end, there is always something that is missing. What is it? We cannot fill that big lack with knowledge. Then how to do it? Where to find the fulfillment? In the all, he's saying, in the everything, in the all of reality. Where do I find the next fulfillment?
Excellent. If you're asking yourself that question and you're watching this video, so you're in the right place probably. It means that your heart, at that point in the heart, has awoken, and you can no longer fulfill that deficiency by any of the fulfillments of this world, but you have a lack for something higher, out of this world. The point in the heart, it's not from this world, by the way. And from this moment on, the only thing that can really fulfill you is attaining spirituality, revealing the Creator, starting a completely different form of work with the desire. And it's a very good point to be at.
And connected to that question, I think, we have Patricia from Sweden, and she asks, do you mean that spirituality only exists and can be explored and developed in the relationships with others and to other things also, like nature? So, Patricia, again, it surprises what Bala Sulam is writing and all of the Kabbalists did, that really they wrote, and we told it already, that human being, or Adam, let's call it like this, is the center of all of the worlds, is the center of all of reality. And nature and all of the rest of the levels, like inanimate, vegetative, animalistic levels, are all just consequences of whatever is happening in the human level, like in the network of connection between us. Bala Sulam is writing that all of the other levels, even in spirituality, these forces which are called angels, not to imagine those with the wings, okay? Forces which are called angels or animals or the holy animals or whatever it's written there, they're all rise and decline with or according to the corrections we're doing, and they only exist to serve this purpose. That's it. So if we're talking about our correction in this world, and many good, as we can say, good souls are going to correct, to save the trees in the Amazonas, to save the polar bears, to stop pollution. But the problem is, even if we're talking about the corporeal level, the problem is not pollution, is not the extincted species or about to be extincted, or I don't know what, the hunger in the world. These are not the problems, these are symptoms. And even in the corporeal world, we know that the problem is the human level, our connections. Once you correct this, you correct everything else, because human beings were doing all of this. But if we're talking about the Kabbalistic level, all of creation, all of nature, and its correction and its perfection depends only on one level, the human level. That means Adam, that means our connections. That's it. If we connect, we're creating a vessel which will be fit to receive the light. The light is coming more and more. What happens when the light is getting closer and closer? Our ego grows, and then we see horrendous phenomena. Mothers with the children, they don't want them, they even do bad things to them. Families cannot be together. Why? Because the ego grows, and we don't prepare ourselves to receive the light with the right intention, with the right education of connecting to one another. We're not preparing ourselves, so the world becomes, each day that passes, like now we have ISIS, who knows what will happen tomorrow. We have horrendous phenomena day by day. And when we will prepare our common vessel, when we will educate ourselves on how to be connected and how to connect others, to understand the goal of life, then we will receive this light through another prism, the corrected prism, and we will see this world perfect, beautiful, in other words, as the spiritual world. We're worth waiting, or worth investing. Mm-hmm. Okay, listen, we have some more minutes, so last question really. So Sandra from Italy, and she says, so if I have understood well, our desire to receive material things pushes us to demand always more, until we are full, and then we push us to spirituality. The desire pushes us to spirituality. What is the unique thing that can fulfill us? I will explain it. I will rephrase it. Our will to receive is like material things. It pushes us always to demand more and more. It's always growing, until we are full with it, and then it pushes us towards spirituality. This would be the mechanism?
Each one of us has a certain preset point, let's call it a critical mass of the development of our desire. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be a millionaire or, fulfill the desires to the full extent, but it's to the full extent of my critical mass of the desires. Then the point in the heart awakens. And from that point on, what? This brings us, the development of the desires, it brings us to the desire for spirituality. I'm sorry if I didn't exactly understand the question. So.
This mechanism of getting always like the desire that it grows and grows and grows, and I'm always fulfilled, and then I had it with it. Mm-hmm. This mechanism is intended to push us towards spirituality at the end?
Everything including everything. There's just one goal to life. It seems to us that there are many other things, family, career, my hobbies, movies, I don't know, you name it. Whatever there is in this world, sports, doesn't matter what. These are all excellent things, but they have one purpose, one sole purpose, to bring us to spirituality. Through disappointment, through despair, through a greater lack. But if it says that the Creator, He created the will to receive. And the purpose of the Creator is to do good to His creatures. He just wants to fill the desire. So on the level of this world, you can't fill it. So the purpose of creation cannot be fulfilled. So everything in this world is aimed and set perfectly for each and every one of us to bring us to spirituality. And there's a lot to say about it, but the beautiful thing I think about Kabbalah is that once you start studying it, first of all, it sets your priorities in the correct way, and you start using the desires for this world in a rational fashion. Everything falls into place. You have the right attitude and approach to all these desires, and you start seeing how all these things are meant for me and can help me to achieve spirituality.
And I think that this wraps pretty much our time, and we will see you in the next session of questions and answers, and good week to you all.
Thank you very much for being with us, and see you Sunday.
See you on Sunday.